Hey, Dev.
What's good, Mike? So,
Okay. Um, let's see.
I hope you like my jersey too.
Oh, nice, dude. I got, well, it's a good one. Not many people have it. Um, so yeah, we'll get your brother in after this one. Sorry, JD.
Oh,
We missed
you
you.
hopped in.
We'll get you. Um, so can you tell us, Dev, where you're at right now? What's going on? As far as college goes?
Yeah, so I'm currently in Humboldt, Northern California. I'm still currently here with everything going on, but um, I do plan on coming back here eventually. Just not sure exactly when yet, but just getting school done and trying to stay fit and stay active.
Cool. So you're
Yeah,
doing online classes or you're changing
yeah,
classes to online presence?
yep.
Have you enjoyed that? Is it challenging? Are your teachers doing a good job, or is everyone kind of throwing everything together?
Uh, it's getting there. It's different. It's hard, but it'll just take some time. I kind of like it though.
Yeah, I think it's always a good thing to have like a different challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's jump into it. I got some questions for you. Devin's a player who came through the club, and he is I know, and he's a sophomore at Humboldt State University, playing in the CCAA Division Two. So, Dev, what did you enjoy about being a part of this club as a youth player?
Um, my favorite thing was when we'd have those late night cold practices at either Dwight Merkel or Polo Fields, and just pulling up to the field and seeing the whole field lit up with the lights, and the goals pushed close together, and you just knowing that we're gonna be playing small sided all night. It's probably my favorite part.
Those are some fun sessions, right?
Absolutely, yes.
The men's first team sessions were really fun too, and we'd play on Wednesday. The
Yeah,
side,
exactly. Yep.
some of my favorite memories for sure. Um,
The generator lights.
yeah, and then when you come down at Polo and you see all the lights on, and especially
Yeah,
if first session, other kids are training hard. It's pretty cool.
yeah. Combined all the teams. Perfect.
Love it.
Hmm.
Uh, all right, so when were you recruited? Like, when was this happening? Was it your freshman year? I know it wasn't your sophomore year, junior, your senior. What part of that year? Because a lot of players in Spokane have to wait a little while
Yeah,
because we're more
yeah,
geographically remote, and
yep.
especially boys' side in the past. And what other schools were in the mix, and then what made you choose Humboldt?
Yeah. So I started getting recruited about my junior year. Um, I would say is when kind of everything felt like it was coming together. Um, and then I would say by the time I committed to Humboldt, I would say there's about four places I was considering going. But basically, what made me choose Humboldt, and for like the most important thing to me was like having a coach that like believed in me as a player. You know, not necessarily just wanting me just cause so he can have me on the roster, but Fred, who's the coach, when I went there, made me feel like he believed in me the most, uh, and it made me believe that I could like have an impact my first year, my freshman year coming in, and he held true to that, and I started my freshman year and have been starting since. And that's kind of what's most important to me because I just want to play, um, and enjoy it. So while it lasts too, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's important that the coach wants you there.
Yeah,
Um, and then also, I agree with you that Fred wanted you the most out of those coaches that were in.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, he was very clear about that. I mean, he flew to Spokane
yep,
to watch you play in a camp as well. So I thought those gestures meant for you that it was fairly clear that Fred was the one that really was interested. And the other coaches were too. Like you would have been
yeah,
other places as well. I think
yeah.
it's Chico and maybe another one or two.
Chico, East Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You actually had a lot of interest right at the end when you were kind of already going in
yeah,
programs. So I thought it was cool that you went with the guys that had picked you out early, and specifically the guy that you thought cared the most.
yeah. Totally.
Um, all right. So you and your brother both played in the CCAA, which is the Division Two California Conference, these past 2 years. How did you enjoy that unique experience? Because I mean, you guys are probably never going to be opponents as youth players. Like, you're going to play on your high school team together.
Yeah.
Your teams would meet in Northwest Cup if you're close enough together. But like, I would expect that would never be an experience for some people. So how did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot just because I had grown up with him and we have seen what like the amount of hard work we put into it and all that stuff on the side, and like we both worked hard to get to that spot. And so it was nice to just kind of step onto the field with him and compete against him, um, and it was super fun, and it was a good reason to bring the family all together to come watch too. So that was cool.
So if there were a 50-50 challenge and you guys are both about to come together shoulder to shoulder, out of 10, how hard would you go in if you knew it was your brother?
Oh, we'd go in hard for sure.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
give him a pass just because he's your brother?
No.
Right. I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Even for you and JD with you not being my brother.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory in a Spokane Shadow or Spokane Sounders jersey?
I was thinking about this one. I can't really think of a favorite one, but the one that popped into my head was it was our youth team, and you were coaching, and we had a tournament in Seattle, and I had missed most of the tournament because I was on a visit with East Bend, California, and I had flown. I flew to Seattle for the last game, and to play, and I went from California straight to Seattle, hopped off the plane, drove to the game, and I had scored 2 goals. We won 2-0. I believe those were the only 2 goals of the tournament and the only win, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun, showing up like
Yeah.
that and performing like that.
2-1 win over Oregon team.
Yeah.
Capital FC Timbers.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you scoring those goals, a free kick and a penalty kick, I think.
Yeah.
Because I got into it with our coach on the halfway line, and I wanted to win because we had arguments. So, that was a fun game.
Yeah.
You're right. That tournament was awesome with you flying in like that out of nowhere. Looks like we have one person in the room with us, and your brother texted me that we crashed. So let's start this. Yeah. I think we were in and out more or less the whole time. So to remind everyone, this is Devin Hauenstein from Humboldt State University, a youth product of our club, and he's already answered a few questions earlier, and we're going to pick up on the question that I believe he was answering that led to maybe the flood of Instagram people coming here that crashed all of Instagram from what I could tell. So Dev was telling a story about flying in from a camp into the Crossfire tournament, scoring 2 goals, one on a penalty, one on a free kick, and that was his favorite memory as a youth player. Anything to add on that? Cool.
No.
And I do remember there was a bunch of intercollegiate coaches all sitting right there in a row on the half where you did score your 2 goals, which I thought probably made it even cooler because they were like jumping up and down. It was the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
They were sitting down, so they were enjoying that. And especially that free kick, that was nice. So my next question for you is, what would you like to tell the absolute youngest players in our club, ages 8 to 13, about what lies ahead as players working their hardest to accomplish the goals?
What I would tell them is just to always keep working and always push yourself to be better than the players around you. Because as you get older and you play against a lot more players, and you start to travel more, you start to see that there's a lot more guys competing for the spot that you want. And they want what you want, and it's competitive, and not everyone gets the opportunity. So as you're young, practice hard and start to develop those habits of always trying to win, and just compete always. So
great.
Yeah.
At 8 to 13, was it important that you were winning games, or was it important that you were competing as an individual more?
Say that one more time.
At that age, 8 to 13, did you find it was more important that you were winning games or that you were just taking care of your business and competing as an individual?
Um, both. I don't know. In games, yeah, compete always. In practice, always work for yourself, and when you go to practice, train to get better. Because that usually feeds off on your teammates as well.
Yeah.
So,
If you can contribute to the result with what you're trying to do, you're a good dribbler.
yeah.
You can contribute to the result. Hey, RJ. All right. So, Devin,
My cheerleader.
this is where we laugh a little bit and we have a lightning round. So I have to pull up some questions. I don't know exactly where they are at the moment, but because I didn't think we'd be on live again. But let me find them and let me ask them to you. This is like a third situation, and you answer these questions as fast as you can, and then we'll sign off. You can go to your training session.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Quickly, Instagram or Snapchat?
Instagram.
What do you want to be if and when you grow up?
Physical therapist.
Who takes longer to get ready in the morning, you or your brother?
JD.
Best left-footed player you've ever played with?
Shout out to RJ.
Oh, that was nice. Just probably because he's one of the 9 people here. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
No.
No. Controversial opinion here.
Yeah.
Who would win in an arm wrestling match? Jesse Rattan with 2 arms or Brian Hernandez with 1 arm?
Brian.
Should they cancel the English Premier League season this year or just award Liverpool the title?
Let it go on.
So the third option of let it go on.
Yeah,
okay.
let it go on.
What's the most disappointing flavor of candy?
Sour.
Would you rather skydive or bungee jump?
Skydive.
All right. Great. Brian, go ahead. Have a question.
God, no, please.
How do you kick someone out of here?
Let's see what he has to say. Who's better?
Oh, this is the viewers too. All right.
Don't start that, Brian.
I don't think this is gonna be productive as far as JD Devin. I think we probably need to solve it after JD answers his question. So, Dev, thanks for coming on. I know you gotta go. So if you can hop off, I can get your brother to hop off.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. See you, man.
What's up, Mike?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Yeah, I figured out the whole Instagram thing. It's working now?
Yeah, I think what happened was Devin was just so awesome to be around that the whole of Instagram exploded.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it actually weird timeline of things caused last night's earthquake, which I don't
Yeah, oh my God. Yesterday was so weird, dude. Yesterday was like actually one of the weirdest days I think I've ever experienced.
Yeah. How are you staying sane with all this?
It's kind of nice being home, honestly. I actually got to come back home for a couple weeks. So I've just been hanging out at home. Not much to do, but at least I've been at the comforts of my home, you know?
Good time to be with family, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we weren't really expecting this time to be with family anyway, so this extra time with family is always nice.
Yeah, got to take it when you can get it. Because we're going so fast all the time that we forget.
Yep, exactly.
Take a moment, spend some time with your fam.
Yep.
Cool. So we've got a ton of viewers in here, 9 at the moment.
10. Make it 10.
Yeah, we'll try to get to double digits. There we go. Hey, Lucas. We're looking to chat with JD. JD Hauenstein plays, just finished a career at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Before that, he was at MSU Billings, and before that, he was at Spokane Shadow and the Spokane Sounders. And we're just live with his brother Devin, who had some interesting answers to some questions. So
I missed it, honestly. I didn't even know you guys came back on, so I missed his entire interview.
I didn't know it was going to work. I tried to go live like 4 or 5 times, and I would, and no one would come in, and that made sense that no one would join up. It was just me with my screen. But the next time that it actually worked, we knew we were going. So I had to computer out and text you. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's get into it. So what we have here is just a few questions, and then I'll back up and ask some of the questions that maybe some of our many fans have asked. So,
All right.
hey, Andre, up in the house. All right. So JD, what did you enjoy about being a youth player in this club?
For me, one of my best experiences as a youth player was my opportunities with the men's first team as a youth player. I got to start playing with them about halfway through my junior year, and then played with them ever since, all the way, I think, up until the end of my sophomore year of college. So that experience on the men's first team, starting out with Chad and everything like that, that was probably one of my biggest like learning moments as a player, because I was able to play with people who had been to college, which was where I was trying to go. I was playing with people who had been out of college, and they all had so many different experiences, and they all had so many different things that they brought to the table that I was able to learn so much in that experience. And I made a ton of connections in the soccer world as well. Like so many people that I ended up playing with at Billings were playing for the men's first team. So I just made a lot of connections early on in my career, and that was probably the best experience for me as a youth player.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Back in the day,
Yeah.
when the Spokane Shadow was reimagined in 2014,
Yeah.
2015, playing in the EPLWA,
Mhm.
which is a league for us, there weren't a lot of high school players involved at all. So like
No.
now, it's a ton.
Yeah.
But back then, it was just you. Right?
Yeah, I was one of the first ones, and it was a great experience. And Chad trusted me with it, and I got to play in a few games, and those few games gave me so much experience, and I learned so much from them.
You got a goal. You were like the first current high school player in the
I think
reimagination.
so. Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Great. So obviously you've just gone through a college career. How did you manage your contact with intercollegiate coaches, and what type of interest did you get? And how did you classify like your meaningful contact with coaches?
So I started my contacts out with the college coaches. I started about my sophomore year is when I first started. I emailed them whenever I had tournaments anywhere. I would just email them, let them know my tournament schedules, where I was at, what games I was playing, so that they could kind of coordinate their schedules to align with mine. And so that was kind of my first approach to contacting the college coaches, and they would come out and see me play. And then once they saw me play my sophomore year, then I started getting some invitations to ID camps. And then through the ID camps is where I got a lot of the real personal connections with a lot of the college coaches. And I sacrificed a lot of weekends going over to like Seattle or Billings, or places in Idaho for ID camps, and sacrificed a lot of time, but it was worth it because I got a lot of exposure and I made a lot of connections with coaches that I wouldn't have otherwise. So that's kind of how my process with contacting coaches went, was through emails at first. They came to see me play. And once they saw me play, then I made it onto their campus and played at some ID camps.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I ended up committing by the end of my junior year as well. So, yeah, it was like right at the end of my junior year, right after that Crossfire tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually right before the Crossfire tournament, actually.
Okay.
And then, that was when I ended up committing. So then senior year, I really didn't have to do any of the recruiting process at all. Kind of got to take some to just play.
I remember that being a situation where I was at that Crossfire tournament, and they let the coaches in that tent and eat food.
Uh-huh.
And I remember everyone be like, "What's up with JD?" And I remember having to be like, "Sorry, man." Like,
yeah. I remember that tournament too because that was like I think my first tournament with Shadow, and my high school team, we were playing the state championship on Saturday, and we ended up losing that state championship game. But then I played with the Shadow. That was my first game with Shadow, my youth team, and I ended up doing a hat trick in that first game back.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't Crossfire. It was at their field though. What was that called?
I can't.
Champions, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't think it's around anymore. Awesome. Thank you for that. So I hope you don't mind me saying this, but your team wasn't operating at the highest level as
definitely
are now. Like your brother's team was better. The 02 boys, 01 boys are nice teams, right?
Yeah.
How did playing in RCL2 and like in the second tier of State Cup, how did that affect your development? Because even though your team wasn't beating the best teams in the region regularly,
Yeah.
had your best players got exactly what they were looking for, like you and Jackson. Yeah. They definitely got where they're going, Mikey.
Yeah. I'd say the top players, we held each other to a high standard. We embraced a winning culture. All of us wanted to win more than anything, and we held each other to a high standard at all times. In that RCL division, we weren't playing in the highest one, but we still had a job to take care of. We still had to go out there and play games and win, and I'm pretty sure we did end up winning that division that year. It wasn't the hardest competition, but we still had to go out and make plays, and we still had to go out and beat teams. And we just embraced the winning culture, and we won. We won. I think we went undefeated with like 12 wins and 2 ties or something like that. And we played in the second division of the state cup too, so it wasn't the highest competition state cup as well, but we ended up winning that too. So we just embraced the winning culture, and we held each other to that high standard of winning. And we couldn't really control where we got placed in the divisions because that was my first year with the team, so we didn't really have any dictation on where we would be. And I think part of the reason why our teams weren't as strong back then was because there was such a division in clubs back then. Like we had FC Spokane, Shadow, and Zifa, and there was like 4 major clubs. So all the good players were scattered around each of the clubs, and each club team had like probably like 5 to 6 solid players. Where if had all of us solid players been playing together, I think we would have been one of the most solid teams in the state. So I think kind of like because now when you talk about it, Spokane soccer, it's all about Spokane Sounders. There's not really any more relevant clubs, unless is we still a thing?
I believe so.
Okay, well, I'd say Spokane Sounders is pretty much just the relevant one now, and that's where everybody goes to for the highest level of competition. So I think if we would have had that back in when I was playing club soccer, I think our team could have been completely different. I think we could have been competing at the highest of levels because I think we had the talent pool in my age group. But where was I saying? But we didn't have the highest talent on the team, but we still held each other to a high standard, and we won. And that was what mattered is we controlled the things that we controlled. We went out to the field, we played our hardest, and we won games. And that was what we did. I still had a great experience with it as well.
Great. And you're right. That's how I remember it. I remember you guys that were at the top of your team pushing each other and pushing everyone from, the middle third of the team as well. And the bottom third's got to keep up in general.
Yeah.
And I like that on any team. I think it's probably like that with the Seattle Sounders and with Manchester United, who's the greatest team right now.
We had a bunch of role players on our team too, and like they knew that they probably weren't the best players on the team, but they played their role and they did exactly what they wanted to, and they embraced the culture as well, and they pushed themselves as hard as they could. And with that together, with the high standard that we set for the team, it was a good combination of players, and we still came out with a lot of wins, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have a question from Kenny and Finn here. What's your favorite skill move and why?
Favorite skill move? Honestly, I don't really do skill moves. I just kind of dribble past. I use my pace. I don't do skill moves. I just kind of use my pace. I'll beat you down the line at like 100% of the time. I'm usually faster than most people, so I usually stay away from the skill moves because that's usually when I mess up. I usually try to keep it as simple as possible. That's usually my go-to.
So what's your brother's favorite skill move? Because he was on when the question was asked. So.
I think probably for him is the scissors. He's pretty smooth with the scissors, so I think he's got that move down.
Do you know what Jake Levine's best skill move is?
Kick it 20 yards, run over the 3 people in front of him, and then score a tapping goal every single time. It works. It works.
You're right. You're right.
Shout out, Jake.
What's up, Jake? Let's see. You decided to transfer from Billings, Montana State Billings, to Cal State Hills after your sophomore season.
Yeah.
What went into that decision, and how would you have done it differently in your recruitment or even in your transfer in general?
So first off, I don't think I would have done any part of it differently. I enjoyed the experience at the 2 years in Billings. I enjoyed it a lot. I met a lot of cool people, had a lot of really fun experiences, and enjoyed the soccer there because I can't the 2 interviews that I've watched so far between Devin's and Jake's, the common thing between all of us is that we just wanted to play right from the start. And so my first 2 years at Billings, I played a lot. I ended up working my way into a starting position when there were 3 seniors ahead of me, and I ended up getting past one and making that starting position. So I wouldn't have changed any of the experiences. And then the reason why I wanted to change was I just needed a new change of scenery. Billings was just getting a little bit too repetitive and monotonous for me, and I just wanted something completely different, some warm weather, big city, big campus, something completely different. A totally new experience. And so I just sent I'm pretty sure I sent my highlight video to you, and you ended up sending it to the coach that you knew there, and they ended up liking it right away, and I ended up signing soon after that. So, and I had a great 2 years at Dominguez Hills as well. I wouldn't change that either. Love the experience. I get to stay down there a little bit longer now because I just ended up getting a job a little bit close to the campus. So I wouldn't have traded either of the experiences at all. And then what was the other part of the question? Or did
it was differently. So no, you nailed both of them down as far as you had.
Yeah. No. I love both experiences. Wouldn't have traded both of them. I'm glad I did it like halfway through because I got 2 years of one experience that was completely different from the other. So I kind of had 2 completely different experiences in my one college experience together, and I met a whole lot of new people, had some completely different experiences, and gained some completely new perspective going to both schools.
Awesome. Great answer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say it's like for middle school aged players in this club? So like maybe like 7th and 8th graders?
Yeah.
Their development for players in Spokane.
Mm-hmm. So for me, when I hear that question, the thing that I think about is what I was doing in 8th grade and what I either could have done differently or decisions I should have made. And in 8th grade was when I really decided that soccer was going to be my sport because I was playing basketball at the time too, and maybe like some other ones here and there. But then right after 8th grade was when I like really decided that soccer was going to be my one sport, and I quit everything else. So if there was any advice I had to anybody like contemplating a career in soccer, it's like, especially going into high school, I don't think people can be 50-50 in one sport anymore. I think you have to give your commitment and focus and your attention 100% to that sport. And maybe soccer isn't your sport. Maybe you choose the other sport. But I think at that time, you should definitely pick one sport and commit to it 100%. Because that's what I did. And then after that, right when I got into high school is when I started doing well. Is like I put 100% focus into it and 100% commitment, and then that's when I started seeing the results. That's when I actually started getting good at soccer because like I arguably was not that good before then. And so then once I put my focus to it, I ended up getting good. That's when I excelled, and then that's when my soccer career started to take off. So I think the earlier that you can make that decision, the better you'll be off, especially in your soccer career.
Oops. You're lighting the internet on fire a bit, your opinions, because a lot of people got to play multiple sports, but I at least personally think that applies really nicely to a lot of other sports, but not quite as nicely to soccer. So while I think like those that like do judo when they're young, I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, no,
I think anything that you're in, great. But if it's taking away.
Yeah, I think my other sports definitely helped me out with my skill sets in soccer. Growing up, like my depth perception while playing baseball, all that, like hand-eye coordination from basketball, all that. I think all of that helped out a ton. But I think once you get to that certain age, you need to make a commitment to just one sport and really focus on trying to get the highest level as possible in just that one sport.
Cool. Great. So I got your lightning round here.
Oh boy, here we go.
So you don't know what these questions are, but
nope.
They'll all happen relatively quickly, and you can answer them as quickly as you can. At the end of it, we may have some more questions from
I'm sure we will. I'm sure Jake's got some.
We won't. So, here's what we got. JD, Instagram or Snapchat?
Snapchat.
What do you want to be if and when you grow up?
Financial advisor. That's what I just got an intern for.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who takes longer to get ready in the morning, you or Devin?
I would say me, especially when I had the long hair.
You said the same thing.
Yeah.
Favorite goalkeeper you've ever played with?
Brian Hernandez. Yes, easily.
You have to say that.
Yeah. He'd beat me up if I didn't.
Yeah, he might beat you up anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Is double dipping a carrot into ranch dip ever acceptable?
Never.
Never?
Never.
How long would it take you to grow a beard?
3 days.
Prove
5 days. 5 days. 5 days.
Can you say, "Oh, and Solskjaer's won it" in a British accent?
Say it one more time.
Oh,
I forgot to watch that video.
In a British.
Solskjaer's won it.
There you go. What's your favorite Mexican food in Spokane?
Favorite what?
Mexican food in Spokane.
Oh, Atalanos. After every men's first team game, Atalanos.
Yeah, that's the time they're busy because the whole first team goes.
Exactly. That's their business right there.
Yeah. If there's a spider in your house, do you kill it or set it free?
Kill it. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Burrito or bowl at Chipotle?
Bowl. Absolutely. You just get more food. It's just a reasonable choice. You get more food.
Did you
It's proven by science that you just
know
get
you
more
can
food in a
also
bowl.
you can request a tortilla with your bowl?
Exactly.
You can do double beans, double rice, and double veggies.
Exactly. Anybody who's not doing that, they're just kind of making a mistake and they're not making the most of their money.
Well, that's the challenging part about taking, intercollegiate who are like lifting, working really hard to Chipotle because like $20 worth of food. But I'm like, no, you got 12. So then they got to figure ways around it. So that's how.
Exactly. You got to go with the bowl. I'm telling you, you get more content in the bowl. All right.
Get more content, get double up on things. You can double up on it costs more, but you probably should anyways.
Exactly. Take notes, Jake.
Okay, I don't think we have any more questions here. I'm looking, but I don't.
Right. Yep, let's see. I can't wait to go through all these comments later and see all the dumb stuff RJ and Jake has been saying.
Yeah, there's pretty dumb stuff there. How long have you been working to get where you are? From Kenny and Finnegan.
What was it?
How long have you been working to get where you are?
Working to get where I am, literally all my, at least 18 years. I've been playing soccer since I was 4, and then ever since then, in high school, there were so many times where I'd have to sacrifice my weekends, sacrifice high school dances, sacrifice so much of my free time to just try and market myself as a soccer player and try to get to the places where I wanted to be. And honestly, if you embrace the grind and you enjoy it, it's gonna pay off eventually. Because I got to where I wanted to. I did the things that I was supposed to. I followed the steps that people told me to take in order to get where I wanted to be. I put in the work, and it all happened. So as long as you put in that work and you embrace the grind, you're gonna get to where you want to be.
What if someone is tremendously talented and they put in half the work? What happens?
Talents, you gotta put in the work. Talent will only get you so far. Coaches, what makes you stand out more than anything is your work ethic. That's what a lot of my coaches have known me by, is by my work ethic, and that's how I've been able to that's how coaches have trusted me to get to when they play me. That's how they trust me. That's how they gain my trust, is through my work ethic. If I'm not having the best game of my life, if say my touch isn't on, they at least can depend on my work ethic to get me through the game, and they know I'll do that for them 100% of the time. So if you just embrace the grind and put in the work, you're gonna get the results.
I totally agree, and I think that actually putting in work regularly,
yeah,
that's a great quality in a player.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you look at
doing stuff like Kevin Moon's academy, it helps out so much. Like my technical skills were so bad until I started Kevin Moon, and then once I started Kevin Moon's academy, that's when I actually started to be able to dribble at people and stuff.
You believe that your technical skills now are pretty good? Is that what you're saying?
A lot better than what they were before I met Kevin Moon.
All right, that's great. Shout out to Spokane Soccer Academy for
Kev.
Great plug for JD here. Mm-hmm. And then you've also been working with them afterward, right, as a mentor?
Yeah. Yep. I did a summer with them as a mentor and coach. That was a cool experience, helping the youth.
Great. Do you see yourself being a coach one day?
I think so. I think I would enjoy it a lot. Once I get my career established and I understand where I'm at in life, and if I've got some free time to do it, I would love to be. I think it would be a completely fun experience. Always love working with the kids, so I think it'd be cool. Hopefully one day.
Well, if you're in Spokane, it's an easy transition. If you're in Southern California, which you probably will be, also an easy transition because it's so big. They're needing coaches all the time.
That's right.
So we'd be privileged to have you in the community of coaches.
Yep. All right. I'll hit you up when I come back. All right.
There we go. Well, thank you.
All right.
Thanks very much for your time.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Bye, everyone.